Pnawn da bawb, croeso I ddathliad priodas Alex ac Aaron. One for the Welsh. And lleoliad Credbreth Glanysg. Good afternoon, everyone. We hope you're all having a great day so far, are suitably relaxed, and enjoying the spectacular setting here on the Glanysg estate. I must admit, when I arrived earlier, I was extremely impressed that Alex and Aaron have really gone the extra mile and organised Alcoholics Anonymous to have a help desk for us. Now, I know they planned this wedding in great detail, but I did think that was a bit over the top. Although I guess it's only 4:30 or so, and looking around the room, I can see it could welcome and useful later. So could I start off by formally welcoming everyone and thanking you all for joining us today to celebrate the marriage of Alex and Aaron, Mr. and Mrs. Lewis. I'd like to make a few special mentions. Firstly, of course, Alina. She is the most loving wife and the perfect role model for Alex. She's always totally supportive and has worked tirelessly for our whole family. She's got a fantastic sense of humour, and before anyone else says it, obviously, she must have to have looked at me for 30 years.
33 years.
She must have to have looked at me for 33 years. I didn't realise we were counting.
Every minute.
And she's got a great sense of positivity and calm, which has been an inspiration to us all. And I know has been particularly important for Alex as she's made her preparations for her big day. Next, I'd like to welcome Aaron's parents, Sue and Ian, and his grandmother, Phyllis. We've got to know Sue and Ian well over the last few years, and I know that they are as delighted about this wedding as we are. You may know that Ian had a long military career and spent a lot of time in the Brecon Beacons and here in the Black Mountains. So he and Sue are particularly pleased that Alex and Aaron have chosen to have their wedding and to make their home in this part of the world that holds so many memories for them. Some of you have made a particular effort to get here today. There's Becky from Dubai, Philip from Shanghai, and just trumping them are Steve and Cassie from Brisbane, Australia. Now, Steve and I go back a long way, and originally he was planned to be my best man at our wedding, but unfortunately missed the occasion due to a serious illness. So Steve, we're delighted that you managed to get here this time. I only mentioned him because he bribed me with his air miles. There are a number of people here who've had a particular influence on Alex as she's been growing up. And I apologise, I can't mention everyone individually. But I would like to acknowledge her godparents, my sister Liz and brother-in-law Larry, and of course, Alina's sister, Alex's auntie, or in Polish, ciocia, Diana. Then there's her long-standing group of shy, retiring friends on the table closest to the bar. Yeah, it's a good job we've got the AA on standby. And Alina and my friends who've listened patiently as we've inevitably let off a little bit of steam in the castle on a Friday night after Alex has been incessantly organising us for the last 18 months or so. It really seems a lot longer than 18 months. And finally, of course, Alex's grandparents, Irena and Frank, and Pauline and Raymond. Now, you may know that Alex's grandmother, Alina's mum, Irena, sadly passed away last year. But she had met Aaron, and I'm delighted to report that he passed a very demanding assessment. And that's not easy, as myself, Jim, and Larry all know. But he passed with flying colours, and she was delighted that they decided to get married. And never one to miss a party. I'm sure she's up there somewhere, keeping a watchful eye on us today. And of course, my own parents, Pauline and Raymond. They've been very close to Alex since she was a baby, and very influential and very kind, particularly in her early years when we lived in Swansea, and Alina and I were both working full-time. They are fantastic grandparents and have always been very supportive and there for Alex at important times in her life. They really have made an exceptional effort to provide a safe and supportive environment for the whole family, and in particular, their 4 grandchildren. Right then, moving on to Alex. Now you may not know, but Alex has never forgiven Alina and I for giving her a boy's name. We really thought she would have got over it by now, but no, it crops up again and again. But Alex, all I can say is that in my opinion, at least, you've grown into a charming, witty, intelligent, and I'm sure, looking around the room, everyone would agree, seeing you today, an exceptionally beautiful young man. Young woman. By the way, her middle name, as you heard in the church, is Francis, and now her married name is Lewis, so lucky you, Alex. 3 boys' names. Alina and I are extremely proud of what Alex has achieved in her life so far, and of her endearing qualities of 110% commitment to everything, loyalty, focus, honesty, and for those of you who know her well, you know what I mean when I say an appealing innocence. She achieved her first degree in architecture and worked in that field for a few years before doing what Alina and I know to be a typical Alex move, and suddenly and stubbornly making up her mind to do something completely different. So without another thought, she embarked on a second degree, this time in quantity surveying, at the same time as changing jobs, moving house, and organising this wedding. I rest my case. Her commitment and her ability to handle pressure is truly inspiring. And a good example of that is how she's approached every aspect of today's wedding. She has spent 18 months designing, drawing, making, collecting, storing in her house and my garage. Pretty much everything, all the finishing touches that we saw in the church, and also here, the table decorations, the blackboards, the photographs in the toilets. Every last detail. Things that, some things that may go unnoticed, but really for us, make it a very personal and a very special occasion. She's a delight to be around. She's a loving daughter, sister, granddaughter, and it's been an absolute privilege and a joy to share the many happy years with her as she's been growing up. But she does have some perhaps less endearing qualities. Now, her brother Gareth and I, we've clearly lived with Alex for a long time, and we've suffered for a long time. So Aaron, we are both delighted that the day has come finally when we hand the baton over to you.
Thank you.
And with our long experience, we feel that we are ideally placed to offer you a little bit of expert advice on surviving life with Alex. Firstly, never ever watch a film with Alex. As I've said, she's a highly intelligent lady, but this just seems to evaporate the second that the opening titles start to roll. I can guarantee that within 5 minutes, you'll have to hit the pause button, explain where it's set, what it's about, who the characters are, and this will continue without fail throughout the whole film, every time, guaranteed. Now the good news is that she's got a couple of favourites. She likes Les Mis and The Greatest Showman, as you probably know. And she's watched these 30, 40 times each, I don't know. And I think, I'm not certain, but I think she's starting to understand what's going on. So her advice to you is if she wants to watch a film, put one of these on and head straight to the pub. Secondly, never ask for or rely on Alex for directions. Now, when she was growing up in Llangors, there were only ever 2 directions that were of any interest to her whatsoever. There was Brecon Way and there was Abergavenny Way. That was it. She had no interest or concept what happened after either of these 2 places. It was just a big blur. Now, Alina and I were proud parents when we thought she'd conquered this little issue. And after finishing university, again in typical fashion, announced that she would travel around the world solo. She spent months planning this whole adventure in every last detail, poring over the internet, maps, guidebooks. Every last day was planned down to the last detail. We were really impressed until we got in the car to take her to the airport, and the little voice from the back said, "So Dad, is Bangkok Brecon Way?" And our last piece of advice, there's loads more, but we thought we'd just get through it, is never do the washing up with Alex in the same room, and preferably not in the same building. Alex has got a habit of being a little bit particular, and as your hard work goes on and you wash the dishes, you'll hear the little voice whispering to you, "Have you missed this one?" Or perhaps just another rinse. Or the worst of all is just the and then you know she's really not happy. But we think that these qualities just add to her appeal, and we're sure that Aaron is something you were attracted to right from the start. We've known Aaron for 4 years or so now, and of course we'd like to take this opportunity to welcome him to the family. He really is a great guy, and we've liked him from the moment we met him. There's always a bit of apprehension around that meeting the parents moment, but Aaron got it just right. Now I'm sure that his 2 best men, when they speak to you later, will have nothing but flattering things to say about Aaron. But just in case, I would like to say that he's a credit to his parents, and we're proud to welcome him as our son-in-law. Obviously he's bribed me as well. Throughout the time that we've known him and on holidays that we've spent together, he's always been true to himself, respectful, helpful, and never afraid to adapt and to engage and to enjoy whatever the occasion might be. He clearly loves and supports Alex very much, and in many ways, we feel, provides an ideal balance in her life. In many ways, though, they're very similar. Sorry, here we go. Bad timing. In many ways, though, they're very similar. They're both very, in fact, they're both painfully organised. And they are totally focused on what they want out of their lives. They share the same sense of humour, and they just seem to thrive in each other's company. They're easy company, equally content going for a meal in a nice restaurant with family and friends, or singing and playing I Spy for 10 hours non-stop, as they did recently when we drove on a skiing holiday to the Alps. It was a long, long journey. In fact, it was quite sweet at first. You know, Alina and I thought it was quite a nice thing. until probably the outskirts of Calais. Then the novelty really did wear off. But it doesn't seem to bother them, and they are perfectly content and seem to be totally absorbed in each other's companies. And I'd say that that bodes well for a long and a happy marriage. And at this stage, I'm expected to impart some words of wisdom on love and marriage, something that I must admit puts me quite a long way outside my comfort zone. And so I'll go back to advice that Alina and I were given when we were married, which were just two simple things. The first was to be kind to each other, and the second was at the end of every day, never go to bed angry with each other. And I think Alina and I have taken that on board and have succeeded most of the time, not all of it, for the last 33 years we've kind of managed that. I guess all I can say is that it takes commitment, some hard work, and a lot of compromise. But as we said in the church, we all wish you every success, and we're there to support you every step of the way. And I hope finally that you are as lucky as I have been in finding a soulmate for life. So to finish off, many of you know that Alina and Diana's parents, Alex's grandparents, were originally from Poland and settled in Nottingham after a very difficult and in many ways epic journey during World War II, but that's a whole other story. They always kept their Polish traditions alive, particularly at Easter, Christmas, and family celebrations. They always involved alcohol, and usually involved singing, which we think is the perfect Welsh-Polish combination. And we also think it's fitting that we keep one of those traditions alive today. I started in Welsh, and we'll finish together in Polish, as we toast the bride and groom with a traditional Polish song, Stolat, which is sung at birthdays and family celebrations. The words are on your table. Music should appear through the PA, so there's no excuse. Oh yes, and I'd assumed that you'd all would have drunk the vodka by now, but it doesn't appear that everyone has, so feel free to choose the vodka or the Prosecco.
Mix it.
And be upstanding, and join me in firstly saying Nazdrovia, and then singing a rousing toast to the bride and groom, Alex and Aaron.